Welcome to Gov's.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I got to pat you down, though, pal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Got anything on you? Anything I should know?
I got nothing.
Anything weird going on? What? All right, you go in, Tony.
Good. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly of The Tom Kelly Show. Yes, this is not the only time I've gotten on my knees in the back room of a comedy club.
The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. Give Two Eagles Auto Body a call and please ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. That's 516-328-2527.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony on the Knockem Dead radio show. They're gonna keep knocking them dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie.
Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, at Knockem Dead Comedy Radio.
Hey, Tony, you're not funny, and you probably shit yourself a lot, and you're no fun to be with, and you don't make that much money, and you're not going anywhere in show business, and I hope you get hit by a bus.
Let's give a big shout out to Tony Walker.
Tony Walker, who's a friend of mine.
Tony Walker!
Tony Walker! Tony Walker, everybody. Stand up, Tony. Where are you? Tony Walker! Thank you so much, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Walker. Our favorite. We love you.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Show here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast, the Facebook page, the YouTube channel. Wherever you're watching, please share the link on all your socials. Tell everybody you know about all the great shows here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. And, of course, we are coming at you live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Thanks for joining us today. We have Frank is here, and we have musician Toby Tobias joining us today. He's a local guy, but he's actually not from here. But we'll talk to him in a minute. So, suppose he said something about being stuck in traffic, but then was nearby. So Frank actually just ran out of here after last week's debacle, where he had to run after Arno Hecht all over the parking lot. He just decided to run outside and just stand out there and wait for the guy. I don't know what that's going to do, but who knows. So Frank is outside waiting for Toby to show up, which I believe he said was around now. I don't know. Good morning, John Rusciello says, good morning, Walker Brothers and guest. Yeah, Toby Tobias is his name. He's a singer-songwriter, guitar player. He's got some albums out. He plays all over the place. So, we'll talk to him in a second. But it's a good day. Oh, you know what? I didn't have my music set up. I did not have my music set up, which is very bad because it's a very special day. Here we go.
Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife.
All right, I do believe I hear them walking in right now. Yes, there they go. Good morning, sir. Good, how are you? You too. Okay. All right, so Frank and Toby are just walking in. Well, yeah, I didn't wait for you. I started. I'm playing the Meet the Mets theme because it is opening day, baby. Rob Seyfarth is watching. He says, happy opening day. Let's go out to the ball game, says John. What is going on over there? What just happened? Your coat won't stay on. Okay. Frank tried to hang up his coat, and it didn't work. All right. Yeah, go ahead. Have a seat right there. Oh, let me lower that. Toby Tobias is here, ladies and gentlemen. Very nice. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing fine under the traffic circumstances.
Yeah, what happened?
Well, I guess Suffolk County decided to do some road work at 10:30 on a weekday morning.
Right.
So it's,
lucky you.
It's always an interesting time to start the day.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Right. But
yeah.
I'm very, very happy to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Of course.
And I know you're happy to be alive as well.
I'm happy to be alive, exactly.
That's right. I'm quoting one of his songs.
Love that song. Love that song.
Yeah, oh, you know what? That's what I should have done while I was waiting. I do have some videos of you here somewhere.
There you go.
I should have played The Story of Our Lives, and then I don't even know what the other one is, to be honest with you. You brought the guitar, so you will be playing live, so that's good.
Yeah.
And you'll be joining in?
No, I don't know the songs.
Oh, what the?
I love the songs. I just don't know how to play them.
Okay. Very nice. So welcome. So I'm glad you survived the traffic.
Yeah.
Glad you're here.
If that's the worst thing that happens to me today, I'm doing well.
That's it. And then that's how I always try to keep it in my head. You know, if there's construction or an accident, at least I'm not in the accident. So I'll wait the extra 20 minutes or 30 minutes.
That's right. Exactly.
Very nice.
What a beautiful day here on Long Island.
It is a nice day out, right?
Yeah.
Very nice. How long have you been here?
I've been here now 38 years.
38 years,
in America.
Wow.
Yeah.
What brought you here? A woman?
Yes, you could say that. As a matter of fact, if you wouldn't mind me saying so, today is the day that my American-born wife, Michelle, passed away 16 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Right today.
Jeez.
Oh, wow. So I met her when I lived in Israel, left South Africa in 1978.
Right, yeah.
And I met her in Israel, and we got married in 1984.
Okay.
And we came to live back in America to be close to her family.
Okay.
And, life happens.
Yeah, sure.
And I have 3 beautiful boys, so I'm sending out my blessings and best wishes to my kids. This is a very, poignant day in our lives.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, we were. We actually had that conversation here yesterday because one of my wife's cousins, it was the anniversary of his death yesterday, and we were talking about sometimes when somebody has passed, sometimes it's you try to focus on the positives and you remember like the birthday instead, but the day of the anniversary of their death, you just you can't seem to get past it as much as you want. I don't know if you want to, but in your wife's case, but just trying to remember the good things as opposed to this is the day she passed.
No,
you know what I mean? So it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. As I know that life carries on. My children are grown and out into their lives, and I'm busy trying to live my life as best as I can.
Sure.
But I definitely have very warm memories and loving thoughts about her.
Nice.
And life carries on, just being as powerful as we can in our lives, doing good things, doing good deeds, passing on the blessings to everybody in our midst. That's how.
Right. All the best to you and your family on a day like this.
Thanks a lot, Tony.
And
Thank you very much.
And I know one of your sons is a musician as well, right?
Yes, he is. Thanks so much for bringing it up. His name is Josh Tobias. You can find him at Josh Tobias Music. He is a country singer.
Oh, wow.
In Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
I just came back from watching him perform last Thursday night in Baltimore. Baltimore is a wonderful city.
Yeah.
You've been there before?
Once, yeah, but it was kind of like a passing through thing. But I've heard wonderful things. And
a vibrant culture and music scene there.
There's a big country music scene?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you don't put country music and Baltimore together.
Well, it's a southern city.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's amazing how many people love country music down there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Good to know. And you, and then I guess because you're raising the boys and stuff, so you stayed here even though you just love it here, or
yeah, I really love America.
Okay.
I love all that it has done for me and my family, and there's just it's different from the rest of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's people might find this a little. Astounding to know, but people have a lot of patience here. There's a lot of time, and to figure out how to live the life that you want to lead here. Whereas I feel that in the places that I've been to, there's a lot more this anxiety of reaching your goals in a lot more anxious manner. I don't know if that's coming through. Yeah, I find that.
Even in New York?
I do. I really do feel that way.
Wow.
You have a lot more opportunities to make mistakes here.
Okay.
I'm not saying that you should continue making mistakes until the end of your life, but it's a forgiving country.
Huh.
Does that
very
make
interesting.
Sense to you? As an American, maybe you might not be fully aware of the fantastic opportunities that we are afforded here as Americans.
Well, yes, that I'm totally aware of. But the part about making mistakes and the patience, that I've never heard somebody who's not from here use that word when describing America.
Well, I think you'll agree with me that opportunities exist more here in America than anywhere else.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I remember watching. And you'll identify because you're from you're from the same area. When I was watching a documentary of when Paul Simon made the Graceland album.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Apple TV. Is that the one?
Oh, maybe I don't even remember.
A couple of months ago.
No, this is going back a while. I mean, it might be the same one, but I watched this years ago.
No, go ahead.
And, there was a scene. Where because he's working with South African musicians on that album.
Yes.
And there was a scene where they were here making the album, I think in New York City. And somebody said something about somehow the idea of these guys going to a park, maybe Central Park, whatever park it was, but going to a park. Somehow that came into, and they show this. They had actual footage of this. And the musicians were like, well, don't we have to get a permit? They're like, what do you mean a permit? No, you just walk on down to the park. That was, I mean, it may sound like nothing, but to me that really... I mean, when the Graceland album came out, I was, I think, only 16 or 17. So it really but that scene just kind of really opened my eyes to how the opportunities and how good it is here, as opposed to someplace where they come from. You have to get a permit just to walk into a park. Where to me, that's absurd. But to you guys, that might be the norm.
Well, that album was recorded, what, was this 40 years ago already?
Yeah, something like that.
So perhaps
Holy crap.
perhaps you didn't need an album, a permit back then for Central Park. But you'll have to agree with me that things have changed here in America since then.
Well, yeah.
You know, the regulations and laws and rules
Yes.
have definitely changed. But yes, it is correct.
Yeah.
I think that South Africa is a place. I hope my South African friends are watching this today and will agree with me that there's a lot more red tape. Is that the word that they use for?
Yes.
For holding people accountable for their actions.
Right.
There is a lot more of that in South Africa.
Right.
I might be wrong, but that is the feeling that I get about America. That there's this freedom to do what you feel is a good thing for people.
And you just, again, you know, a 16-year-old kid, you know, who just grows up with that, taking advantage without even realizing, until I see a 10-second scene where a guy is saying, "Oh no, I need a permit," and you start to open your eyes and realize just how good it is.
Well, just another perspective on those people who thought that they needed permits.
Yeah,
the people who came to support Paul Simon in the making of Graceland, most of them were black South Africans.
Yeah,
I know the musicians who took part in that event.
Wow. Really?
And I know at least two of them who are close acquaintances of mine.
Very nice.
And yeah, the black people who lived in South Africa at that time were subject to a lot of regulations and rules, and just being monitored by the police and the government. So yes, I can understand from their perspective. Oh, do we need a permit to go out there?
Right.
Yeah. Wow. That's the way things were in South Africa in the 1980s.
When you mention when you said things have really changed here in America since then. Well, do you after growing up in South Africa and then what was it? Israel, right? Yeah. So. Two special places, but a lot of turmoil, tension, better word.
Definitely.
After experiencing that, and then you come here, and then to say that it's changed a lot, whether it's good or bad, but after experiencing South Africa and Israel, do you come here and you're like, this is nothing? Because I would think it's still, no matter where we are, it's still less tension than those places.
Yes,
so I would think that this is probably like a country club to you.
Yes. I think you're right.
Yeah.
That there is less tension in America.
Mm-hmm.
But New York and certainly Long Island is not like the rest of America.
Well, true. Very true.
There's there may not be as much tension here or stress here as there is in Israel. Definitely today.
Yes.
And in South Africa today.
Right.
But I think you'll agree with me that there's a certain amount of tension here on Long Island. Would you?
I do agree, but I try to, like, you're again happy to be alive. I try to look at things in that kind of sense too, and I try not to worry about what cranky old man is in power now. Because in 4 years somebody else is going to come in and make some other kind of mess, Like, to me, it's all temporary, and unless it's leading to war or like things like Social Security, which he's messing with, I do worry about that. But I try not to let a lot of the tension. Some of it is unnecessary. I truly believe too that the public just really has no idea what's going on either. That's just my personal opinion.
Including you and me.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, especially me. I'm clueless all the time. I have no problem admitting that. But, I sometimes I feel they want us to be mad. They want us to fight amongst ourselves while they're spending our money, on who knows what.
Yeah.
and I mean, I would assume you're much more educated in things like this. Again, growing up living in the places you've lived.
Well, I think that growing up in other places other than America has given me a definite different perspective on how other people live and how other people think,
Sure.
and how immigrants think.
Right.
We speak the same language, we're the same color, we kind of look the same, but we come from different backgrounds.
We all have the same haircut.
Right, exactly. but we are different because I just have a different way of maybe seeing things. But I've been here for 38 years already.
Yeah.
And that's a long time. That's more than half my life.
Right.
So even though I speak with a southern accent, I'm very much a Long Islander.
Yeah.
I've had to create this new person.
Sure.
That even though I've got these immigrant or even South African, Israeli ways about me, in order to have survived here, I've had to adjust and adapt to the way Long Islanders and New Yorkers think.
Right.
And so, it's a survival technique.
Yeah. Okay. But I like talk. When you get somebody like yourself who's not from here, and you get a different perspective on both sides, get a different perspective on things, and that's a good thing. You have that communication, and you kind of discuss things from different points of views, and that's usually when good things happen.
Well, that's another thing that I find Americans very, especially New Yorkers, and Long Islanders, that they've seen in their lifetimes, especially growing up, going to school, going to college here, you've seen so many different cultures and ethnicities and religions pass through your lives, right?
Yes, that's what I personally. One of the things I love about living here.
Yes, and I feel that Long Islanders are very patient with people who are not from there. Certainly with me.
Yeah,
I've never had any issues with people putting me down, or that people have only been interested in where I come from and interested in learning more about my background, my ethnicity,
right?
And I've never felt in any way disparaged that just goes to how open-minded in a way Long Islanders are.
Oh, sure, I agree 100%.
I really feel that way.
I've heard some Jewish classmates talk about how they were bullied and picked on when we were growing up. A town called Hicksville, which is just one town over from here. And I'm actually shocked when I hear, because I didn't see anything like that growing up. So sometimes I wonder if I'm ignorant and just missed it, But now Hicksville is it has a nickname now. They call it Little India because it has a big Indian population now, which wasn't there when we were kids.
Yeah,
but they've really, I'm joking when I say, but they've taken over the town. Indian restaurants all over the place, but they're the nicest people. They don't bother me at all. And I still enjoy. I was out of Hicksville for a while, but I'm back there. But I love it. I'm back home, and and the people are fine.
Well, I think that's testament to the American dream or the American ideal, is that this is a place where people like the Indian community in Hicksville or South African Jews like myself can come here and find a place where they feel at home, and they can express themselves, me as a musician, as an artist, and given the time to do that.
Yeah, right.
And being able to do it in an environment which is calm, and which is allowing me the opportunity to fail or succeed.
Yeah, sure.
Hopefully succeed.
Yeah.
But that to me is the America that the rest of the world, I feel, doesn't have as much of.
Right.
I'm covering my bases.
Yes. Yes.
Because that's not to say the rest of the world doesn't have opportunity.
Right.
But
sure.
I think because America is so large,
right,
and there's so many different people to engage with, I think the opportunities exist because of that.
Especially as a musician too, I would think New York, because it's so diverse and there's different cultures, so there's different music, lots of different types of musicians, and I guess Baltimore too, apparently. But now, was your wife from here, Long Island, or you guys chose Long Island?
She was from Far Rockaway, Queens.
Oh, okay, close enough. Yeah, close enough.
Go Far Rockaway.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a great little area. I like it.
I lived in Far Rockaway for the first 11 years of our life.
Nice.
Of our life in America, and then after that we moved to Nassau County, to the south, to the South Shore.
Oh, okay.
So I got to feel all facets of living in New York.
Sure.
Yeah.
And Huntington now, right?
Huntington Station.
Huntington Station.
Yeah. Shout out to Huntington Station.
Great area, Huntington. I mean, the town of Huntington is just very diverse too, and artsy. See, there's a nice.
Totally.
There's a few places to play and hang out up there. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I love Huntington.
Yeah.
It's a place where I can see myself living for the next, the next part of my life.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's great up there. Except, do you know Joe DeJesu?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's one downside. He lives up there.
Great guitar player.
Great guitar player. Great guy. I always pick on him. I haven't seen him in a long time. Let's see. Let's read some comments here. Let's go out to the ball game. Yes, I mentioned that before. It's opening day. Let's go Mets. You got yours on?
I'm ready. Yeah.
And I'm also a Met fan, by the way.
Oh,
nice.
Very nice.
When I first came to this country, my brother-in-law was a Met fan.
Oh,
I never heard about baseball. I grew up with cricket.
Yeah, right. Sure. Which is actually kind of picking up here.
Oh yeah.
That big. What was that last?
The World Cup was last year.
Yeah, last year, and that was huge. They had to bus people over to the park to watch.
Definitely.
And the cops, Nassau County cops, were making tons of overtime money because they were. Oh yeah, because I'm friends with some. They were. Because they had to bring in so many cops over there. It was huge over there.
Well, you talk about the influence of Indian and Pakistani American immigrants.
Right.
They basically created that event, and unfortunately I never had a chance to go and see any of their matches, but I'm a big cricket fan.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to too because I've never actually sat and watched the whole match, so I'm a big baseball guy, so I'm very interested to see what that's like. But I mean, it was huge. You couldn't get a ticket to that thing.
Exactly.
Over there. It's crazy. Hopefully they bring it back. What's that?
Or parking.
Well, right, yeah, and they had it in Eisenhower Park, which I just found out maybe a year or so ago. Eisenhower Park is bigger than Central Park.
Did
you
really?
know? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had no idea. But maybe that's why they had it there. I don't know. Let's see. Leslie Stoller says, happy to be here.
Oh, wow.
So
Hey, Les.
Yeah, is that a friend?
He's a great friend of you.
Okay.
Frank, you know Les? Do you know Les Stoller?
I know the name. I'm not sure if I know.
He's just a really talented and skillful songwriter, and you should definitely become acquainted to his music. Very eclectic songwriter.
Cool.
Thanks for listening, Les.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a guy who watches regularly. His name is Scott. I don't know his last name. I don't even know who he is, but he watches regularly. Can you ask Toby if Paul Simon was an influence on his music?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Scott. He was a huge influence on my music, as was Bob Dylan, James Taylor, Jackson Brown, Neil Young, Marvin Gaye.
Nice.
And my favorite of all, George Breezen Benson.
Really?
Nice.
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say that's their favorite.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. What a guitar player.
Just a small aside about George Benson. Have you ever heard of Sun City?
Oh, yeah, of course.
You've heard of Sun City. Remember
Little Steven.
Little Steven ain't going to play Sun City?
Right.
George Benson was one of the first performers to open Sun City.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. The performer who opened Sun City was none other than Frank Sinatra.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was paid huge money.
Yeah.
Huge.
Oh, yeah.
But so was George Benson.
Wow.
And I got to see him at Sun City.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he's still alive, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is he still playing?
Yeah.
He had some issues, right? Some health issues or something?
I don't
know. Maybe I'm mixing that up.
He's 45 years old. He's in his 70s already.
Yeah.
And he gives guitar workshops and
really?
camps. Yeah. He brings in like all the top guitar players from LA and from New York, and they're really expensive. But
I bet.
you know, if anyone's looking to really improve their chops, they should check it out.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hope George is watching this. And he's going to send me some royalties for sending some
Yeah,
pictures.
right. Please.
But now, I'm a little foggy with this, but with the whole Sun City thing, what was the story with Queen? Didn't they do something against apartheid or something? I don't remember what the story was.
With Queen?
Yeah, the band Queen.
It must have been. I don't think they've ever performed in South Africa.
There was something with them back then when
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole apartheid thing was really, well, not that it's not big now, but it was big, like really at the height of it. And the song Sun City came out, and Queen kind of did, like they did
Oh,
something
they did?
that upset other musicians. I don't remember what they did.
During those days, in the 80s, there were these huge concerts that took place in London that were anti-apartheid related concerts.
Right, okay. Yeah, I don't remember what it was. Yeah, all right, sorry.
No, that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. I was never really into Queen that much.
Yeah.
Ooh, I hope I'm not going to. But that's okay for me to say that.
What? No.
Yeah, right. Everybody just shut it off. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Scott is also asking, can you have Toby say the word coffee? I have no idea what that means.
Well, I'll say it as a South African, and then I'll say it as a Long Islander. How about that?
Okay, all right.
Because here's the way I would say coffee in South Africa. Coffee. Everyone goes out and drinks coffee, right, Frank?
Right.
But if you're a Long Island, you go out and drink coffee.
Coffee.
I mean, really now. It's coffee.
That was pretty good, actually. What is this? Oh, you could have read it. It just disappeared. You looked it up. You looked up what Queen did.
Yes.
Was I right? Did they do something that pissed off everybody else?
Yep.
In 1984, Queen performed a controversial series of shows in Sun City.
Oh, get out of here.
Despite a United Nations request for entertainers to boycott the country due to its apartheid policy. Wow. And despite the Musicians Union banning its members from performing there. Oh, so they performed there anyway. Oh, okay. Huh. So I knew there was something where they pissed somebody off.
I wonder if finances were a part of them playing in Sun
Wouldn't be
City.
surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was before Live Aid, so that's when they really were peaking. So it was before that.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. Wow. Sometimes, what these guys do for the money, right? And especially when you think they how much money could they need? But yeah.
Always more.
Well, yeah.
That's the capitalist system, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Human beings in general. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I've talked to plenty of people in here that as we get older that you realize it's just not as important as you once thought it was. Does that make sense?
You mean money?
Yeah. I mean, it's a little scary at our age too because we're thinking about retirement and and all that stuff and how we're going to survive. But at the same time, there's just other things I'd rather think about. I don't know. So
yes.
Let's see. Good morning. So we got Ann watching from California. We got Mickey watching from Washington State. So thank you guys. We're hanging out with Toby Tobias, who you still running the open mic at, what was that, the Cinema Arts Center?
It is. It's really a yes. I am. This is the 11th year that we've been doing it.
Wow.
We are, Frank. I just thought that I've just remembered now that I haven't ever invited you. Have I ever invited you to come down and be a?
I don't know. I don't think so. But we'll figure it out.
I'm remiss at that, and we will. I'd love to invite you down to perform there.
Okay, thank you.
We actually had the most amazing event last night. We had to let your viewers know, this is an open mic, an original open mic that takes place at the Cinema Arts Center.
Right.
Great collaborator of ours in Huntington.
It's a great place.
We also collaborate with the Folk Music Society of Huntington. A fantastic organization that brings...
I'm sorry. Is that the one with Stuart?
Yeah.
It is.
Yes,
Stuart Marcus.
Stuart
right.
Marcus,
Okay.
correct. And Mike Kornfeld, he's the president.
Right.
They bring in musicians, and they've been doing this for the last 50 years.
Oh, really?
On and off.
long?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
how long the Folk Music Society of Huntington has been in place.
Yeah.
So I've started this about 11 years ago at a small coffee shop in Northport, and it's grown to where we have on a weekly basis between 20 and 30 open mic participants playing.
Wow.
And we also get, we also have featured performers every week.
Right.
Or 3 weeks in the month. The third Wednesday is saved for the Hard Luck Cafe of the put on by the Folk Music Society. And last night we had this fantastic musician from Centerport. His name is Eric Eaton. Have you heard Eric Eaton?
Again, I know the name, but I don't know him.
He's very well known in that part of the North Shore. And there were about, I don't know, maybe 60 people coming out to watch him play. It was packed.
That's great.
And we have a fantastic sound system, which is run by my co-host. His name is Richard Parr, who, if you took a look at him, he's an immigrant. He's bald, and
He's bald.
So that's like a prerequisite with you? Like you don't deal with anybody unless they're bald?
And he also streams it live on a Wednesday night. So if any of your listeners are looking to see and hear some of Long Island's best songwriters, it's called the North Shore Original Open Mic.
Didn't we play some videos from some of the open mics? Like, was it Steve Robinson, maybe, or who?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, Steve Robinson. He's the guy that does your mics. Okay.
Yeah.
And Richard also streams the Harry Chapin shows we do.
Oh, okay.
So they're all in the same circle.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, so you've done that too, the Harry Chapin show?
I've done it.
Okay.
I've done that at Eisenhower Park.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a great, excellent event run by Stu Marcus.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And before I, of course, doing my research here, and we were talking about, Africa and whatnot. So, I wanted to make sure we get this in. Tell us about the journey from Johannesburg, one man's journey to find freedom for the rest of us. So, explain what the show is and then what that title actually means.
Well, let me see where I can start with this. This is a show that I came up with in 2016. I wanted to kind of create a show that spoke about my life and gave audiences an opportunity to become acquainted with my music, my musical background. I hooked up with this fantastic and extremely talented songwriter and playwright. His name is John Goldstein. He lives here in Glen Cove.
Okay.
We've become hard and fast friends. And he and I wrote this show together. And what it is, it's a musical and theatrical production combining my original music with my original narrative.
Okay.
And slides of my... It's basically a show of a privileged white South African Jew seeing racism and segregation in countries like South Africa, countries like Israel, and might I say America? And it's my journey of looking at this and saying that even though I've seen all these different experiences and seen all these different things that have taken place in my life, that I still believe that we can change things. That we can spread a message of hope for all people, of love for all people. And that's really what the show is about.
So that's why, define freedom for the rest of us, for everybody, because what you're talking about affects everybody. Is that accurate? Okay.
Yes, and that of all the things that we see every day, I'd just like to have a quote. I hope I remember it. It's a quote by Nelson Mandela, who's a commanding role model in my life.
Right.
He wrote a book called The Long Walk to Freedom. And he said, no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, his background, or his religion. You have to learn to hate.
Absolutely right.
And if you can learn to hate, you can learn to love. Because love comes much more naturally to our human heart than its opposite. And that, to me, is basically the framework for Journey from Johannesburg.
Okay.
Learning to love more than learning to hate.
Right. And you've been since 2016 going well. I know you've kind of been touring.
Yes,
all over with it, right?
We bring this show to as many venues, synagogues, community centers. We had a beautiful show on Saturday night at a fantastic, beautiful synagogue in Jericho called Or Elohim.
Okay.
Just a magnificent congregation of people who loved our show. We're always looking to perform the show. Obviously, it's a way for me to create a livelihood for myself. I'm a full-time musician, so this is a stream of income for me.
Wow.
But it is a beautiful show. So if any of your viewers would like to learn more about, is it possible for me?
Yeah, of course.
If you're interested in learning about this show, my email is toby@tobytoby.com. My website is tobytoby.com. You can learn more about Journey from Johannesburg there. John and I perform the show as often as we can for different in different situations, and we would love to perform this show for your event or for your synagogue or church, mosque, whatever.
Yeah, anywhere.
We want to perform.
That it sounds like it's kind of heavy.
It is.
But that's not a bad thing.
Sure. Yeah,
inspiring.
It's inspiring. It's definitely inspiring. Look, I don't candy coat what's taking place in this world.
Right.
There are things that are wrong.
And you're an authority on it because you lived it.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I saw things that even today astound me.
I bet.
From in all different countries.
I want to get a song because we're almost halfway in, but just before we do that, because when we're talking here, not living in another country ever, so I'm curious for you, was there, especially in South Africa with what was going on there, were there? I know this is so ignorant and naive, but I'm going to ask anyway. Were there normal days? Like, was there a day where it wasn't evident, or like Jewish, white, black, we're all you're just living a normal day, like we compared to like living here?
Well, that's a really poignant and interesting question. It's really a great question. You could live during the apartheid era.
Yeah.
You could live as a white person in the northern suburbs of Johannesburg with your blinkers on.
Okay. Right.
If you were living a good life, and you had the capacity to not see what was going on, but I couldn't live that type of life. I saw these things happening in front of my eyes all the time.
Right.
All the time.
So it's amazing to me.
And we live those types of lives in America too.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
People wake up every day. You have to take make an active decision, not to notice all the things the negative things that take place in your life. You can do so, and you can live a perfectly normal life. You don't need to watch the media. You don't need to be influenced by the different things that you are being bombarded with.
Yeah.
But if you open up your eyes, there's a right and there's a wrong in this world. Mm-hmm. And if you're not strong enough to stand up for what's right, then you're wrong. Wow. Yeah, that? Wow, check that, man.
Yeah, you can write that down.
I know, yeah, I was going to say, that's a lyric right there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. All right, so can we get a song? Would that be?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
I would love that.
Cool.
Nice. And you mentioned Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
What's the song you have about him? I'm going to screw this up. Mandibe? Is it?
Take out the N, and it's called Madiba.
Madiba. Oh, okay.
I'll tell you in 1 second what Madiba is.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's the song.
Madiba.
Oh, I thought you were pointing to that. Oh,
No.
okay. Yeah, Madiba. Okay, yeah, right.
Madiba is the name of Nelson Mandela's South African tribal clan. He belongs to, if I'm not mistaken, the Xhosa clan. Xhosa, pronounced Xhosa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that was his clan, the Madiba clan. And there are thousands in that particular clan. But when you're in Johannesburg, there is only one Madiba, and he is him.
Okay.
So he's the.
But what does the word mean? Like hero or something? Like what does the word mean?
I think I'm not exactly sure what it means.
Oh, interesting. But when you say it, people know you're talking about him?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Wow. So it's more like a title. Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Was that word used for him when he was alive? I never heard the word until I heard your music.
It was totally. He's
Really?
always been Madiba.
Oh, okay.
Wait a second. I'm not sure when the country assumed that that name is his, as the name that he would go by.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure that when he became a cultural and national and political figure within the black population,
sure,
I'm sure they said that he became
right. Okay,
it's a great. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah,
it would be a good
Let
idea,
us know.
Right?
Yeah. Cool.
All right, let me see. The name of this song is called Black or White. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. It don't mean anything at all if you say one thing and do another. While people all around are looking at you, they wanna know you're their soul brother. If you say something and it doesn't seem right, your fellow man's being disrespected. It makes no difference if it's black or white. Stand up for the disaffected. 'Cause we know what's right. In the end we're all the same. Raise your eyes, you'll see the beauty of life. We are all the descendants, the same human family. Hold on tight, don't let go, let's do this together. Come on and be with me, we will wait for the right moment, when all the stars in the sky and the night will align with our intentions. Let us open our hearts and our minds and our ears and our mouths. Let our words become less, let our actions speak more. Let's love and accept like never before, before we all disappear into the morning light. The truth we behold, it'll never be told. The dark of the night will hide the bright light. 'Cause we know what's right. In the end we're all the same. Raise your eyes, you'll see the beauty of life. We are all the descendants, the same human family. Hold on tight, don't let go, let's do this together. Let us open our hearts and our minds and our ears and our mouths. Let our words become less, let our actions speak more. Let's love and accept like never before, before we all disappear into the morning light. The truth we behold, it'll never be told. The dark of the night will hide the bright light. 'Cause we know what's right. In the end we're all the same. Raise your eyes, you'll see the beauty of life. We are all the descendants, the same human family. Hold on tight, don't let go, let's do this together. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
That was great.
Thank you.
Ann from California says that was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Kenny Freeberg, happy opening day. Let's go Yankees. All right, well, good luck to you, Yankees, Kenny. But, Kenny, I'll bet you $1 the Mets have a better record at the end of the year. I'm curious because a lot of the songs that I've heard of yours are all about not about issues, but just kind of like open your eyes and be aware.
Mm-hmm.
Is that accurate?
Positivity, a lot of positivity.
A lot of positivity, but it's there's a cause behind it. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you? And it got me thinking actually from watching it. I watched plenty of videos, getting ready for today. So, but it actually got me thinking. I don't know if you pay attention, but the younger guys, like the popular stars of the day, like when we were kids, you had, Little Steven doing Sun City, you had John Lennon before him. So many artists from the 60s, 70s, and into the 80s were,
Sting,
sure, U2, where they were singing about Springsteen, about issues of the day, where I don't see that anymore. Would you agree or disagree? Have you even noticed? Again, this is just a thought that came to me in preparing for this show, so I didn't spend weeks, researching that. But I can't think of a single person who that the kids are listening to today, like the big popular one, the Taylor Swifts. I don't think they're doing that, and I don't. So I'm curious if you agree or disagree, and if you think that's a good or a bad thing.
I don't think I have enough information about that.
Okay.
And I think that here's what when I'm thinking about what you're asking, is I think that we are so polarized as a population in general.
Yeah.
The younger people as well. There's not one basic thought or idea or opinion about certain things that they are all galvanized around. I think that there's so many different things that are taking place in their lives, in our lives,
yes,
that we either agree with or we don't agree with. Without getting into any of the political things, and you can imagine, me being from South Africa and Israel,
right.
I have a lot of political. I feel very strongly about certain things.
Yeah,
and of course, we are free to think whatever we want in this country. Getting back to your question, I think that there are so many different political points of view, human points of view,
right,
that are different one from the other, that people think differently. So yes, I think back in the 70s, back in the 60s,
where
people gathered around, so many different people of teenagers and 20-somethings, gathered around peace, love, togetherness, brotherhood of man and woman.
Right.
You don't find that today because it's not relevant today. But it might come out in different guises.
Right.
It might. I'm not. And again, I'm not really connected to what people listen to when it comes to popular music, popular American culture. I'm not that connected to that. The music that I am connected to, that I love, is African music.
Okay.
I love. I'm influenced a lot by, those folk musicians that I spoke to you, or the rock musicians, American musicians.
Yeah.
But I'm also extremely influenced by African, Christian music that I grew up with.
Okay.
I'm Jewish. I grew up in a Jewish household.
Yeah.
But I listen to black a cappella choirs.
Oh, no kidding.
Church choirs.
Yeah.
One who made it big with Paul Simon was Ladysmith Black Mambazo.
Right.
But for every Ladysmith Black Mambazo, there are probably another 2,000 other choirs in South Africa that are equally as good as them.
Really?
They just worked harder than anybody else.
Right.
And I have to retract that. There's no one better than Ladysmith Black Mambazo. But I was influenced by that type of music as well.
I loved watching those guys. It was so different, from anything we had going on here that I remember what in the world are they? What is that? It blew me away.
It was different, but if you take a closer look at it, they were also influenced by the music of American gospel music, American folk music.
Yeah.
Their chord progressions that they use are very westernized, very American oriented.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea. You guys are the musicians. I'm not, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
Now, are they considered? You mentioned Christian. So are they? They're a Christian band? I never even knew that.
Big time.
Really?
They are very devout Christians.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Yeah. Okay. Are they even still around? I know the main guy, the leader. I know he passed.
Yeah,
and a few of them have passed since. But
their family members have. I mean, they.
Oh, is that right? They are still doing it.
Oh yeah.
Oh
they
wow.
travel the world. They've got different new generation. I mean, Ladysmith Black Mambazo, maybe been around 50 years.
No
40
kidding.
years. Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I mean,
name?
Paul Simon himself has been around since the early '60s, right?
Yeah.
Actually, the '50s.
True.
Him and Art. Right. They put out some early stuff. Wow. Let's see. Nice shirts. Everyone, you guys look like... I'm not reading that from there. Let's see. I feel like I'm in a Gramercy Park in Greenwich Village. Fantastic. Love it, says John Rusiello.
Nice.
Is Toby familiar with the Mandela effect?
No.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
Somewhere in the recesses of my mind, I believe that I've seen that phrase before.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, but I don't know what it is.
It never piqued my interest enough to go ahead and want to learn about it.
Yeah. Kenny's going to bet me. Okay. All right, yeah. I'll bet you $1 that the Mets, the record, not including the postseason, just the regular season record, the Mets are going to have a better record than the Yankees. Scott, we might not have apartheid here on Long Island, but ask yourself, when was the last time you drove through Wyandanch? We all stay in our pockets of dwelling. Any thoughts? All right. I'm very curious to hear what you say, but I'll take that first. Wyandanch, I don't think it has anything to do with color. Personally, it's just known as not a great area. When I worked in Hempstead, which is, I don't think it's known to be as dangerous as Wyandanch, but there are some areas. In fact, when I worked, I'm retired from the phone company. When I worked at the phone company, I worked in Hempstead. That was where my garage was. There were areas of Hempstead where the phone company would not allow you to go in by yourselves. You had to have another guy with you. In fact, I remember doing a job in Hempstead where we actually did hear gunshots while we were working, and we kind of hid. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm just not the minority in my thinking here, but I personally believe it's just more of what's considered a dangerous area. Now, of course, I'm sure you might say some people might say it's dangerous for whatever reasons, but for me, it's not a black and white thing. It's just, it's just not a good area. I don't know.
I do have opinions about that. I think that Long Island is extremely segregated. I wish that we all would be able to feel safe and comfortable,
of course,
being in each other's backyards. Right. And you mentioned Wyandanch, you mentioned Hempstead, but how does the the population of black and African Americans, how do they feel about coming into our communities? How welcoming are we for their communities, their children, their kids to come and watch music in our communities?
Right.
You go into a bar, and I might take flack for this, but this is my opinion.
Sure.
You go into any bar I'll take Huntington as an example, because I'm familiar with that.
Sure.
How many black people come into a bar in white Huntington? Not many.
Yeah.
And how many white people go and watch music in the black bars of Nassau County? Not many. And why is that? Why can't black people feel comfortable going into a white bar in
Sure.
In Farmingdale? Yes, we're a melting pot of 150 different nations. But
Right.
I see us melting. I see us melting differently in 150 separate pots, lacking the knowledge and understanding of each other's culture, background, and religion. And that lack of knowledge has created this wall of fear.
Do you? I don't know if I totally agree. Respectfully,
Well, you
of
grew
course.
up here, so you have a different perspective.
Right. I mean,
of that.
that's what I'm thinking. You know, I just mentioned before with Hicksville. I mean, when we were growing up in the 70s and 80s, I can recall, and I could be totally wrong, but at least when I grew up, I remember 2 black families. Okay, but I just mentioned before, you know, that now there have been Hicksville is taken over. Again, I was joking when I said that, using it lightly, but it has been taken over by the Indian population, which I think there may have been a time in a town like Hicksville where that wouldn't have been welcome. Where now they've kind of taken over. You still hear some people
might still not be welcome, but they've taken over.
Yes,
Come hook or by crook.
Right, but and that's what I was about to say. Some people, if you go on social media, some people may post, I can't believe what's happened in my town, these people. But then they get shot down. You know, they, not literally, but people will comment and blast that person.
True.
How dare you say that? I think it's safe to say that the majority of Hicksville is fine with it. Like I even said that before, they're nice people. The black families that I grew up with in Hicksville, I was personally friends with them. I don't know if you're older than me, but I don't know. Did you have any black families in your class? And I don't recall you having black families, but
I don't believe so.
But I think about, yes, when I worked in Hempstead, there was a bar right across the street. If we walked in there, you would hear these guys 5050, meaning cops.
Oh, wow.
They thought we were cops checking the place out, which wasn't the case at all. And I personally, I loved working in Hempstead. I loved it. And I personally think black people are a friendlier bunch. You know, they're friendlier people. They'll talk to anybody. They'll joke with anybody. I used to love hanging out and talking to people. Right next door was a church. Right next door to my garage was a church, and every Easter they closed down the streets and they reenacted Jesus on the cross. They had a guy playing Jesus. He had the cross. He had, I'm sure it wasn't real, but he had the thorns on his head. And it was like a play, and he, because Jesus, carried the cross,
Sure.
So this guy would walk through the streets of Hempstead, a crowd of people would follow, and a guy dressed as Pontius Pilate, yelling, and like the whole, it was set up like a play. Everybody that was, there in the Bible were there. And they started the church, they walked through the streets, they come back to the end of the church, they put the cross up. And I mean, he had ladders and whatnot, but he was up there. And of course he wasn't really tied up, but they did the best they could, and it was pretty extraordinary. But I loved it. I would fight with my boss because every year at Easter, when this was going on, it wasn't on Easter, it was Good Friday. So it was Friday, we were at work. I would come in early at the end of the day, and I would sit there in the parking lot just so I could watch it. And I just thought it was extraordinary. And to me, what town does that? To me, this was like part of the town. This was something, and I didn't sit there worrying about, the black's going to get mad that there's a white guy here or the Spanish community. Like, I just watched it, and I didn't think about race. And But I do think. So having said that, growing up in Hicksville, to me it seems like there's more. It's not what it should be, but to me it seems like there's more of a mix in a bar than I say when I was a kid. And I'm not saying it's where it should be. I'm not saying what I'm thinking is what everybody's thinking.
No.
But it does seem to me that there's more of a mix. You can go to a restaurant or a bar and see more of a mix than it was maybe 30, 40 years ago.
You may be right.
I hope I am. And that was a lot. I don't want to repeat that.
But in today's age, this is 2025. Why is that? Why are we not?
I agree.
Why are those barriers not altogether down?
You're absolutely right about that.
And
yes.
Tony, I'll tell you something that this is quite a poignant reflection on where I have, where I grew up and where I am now.
Yeah.
Is that just to be able to have this conversation, to be totally free and comfortable and calm about voicing my opinions.
Yeah.
This would never have been allowed in apartheid South Africa 40 years ago.
Sure, right, yeah.
But look how much that country has changed. With all the issues that have taken place there, that country, even with, there's a lot of stuff going on in South Africa.
Right.
But the freedom to talk out against your government, anyone is allowed to do that. Any time of the day.
Yeah. Right.
And that's testament to the beauty of America. I hope that it continues in that way, that we don't become a society where that type of thing is not allowed.
Right. Of course.
Who knows? I mean,
yeah.
Who knows how things are going to go down? But I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to sit here and talk to you about my ideas that might be contrary to how you feel.
Absolutely.
And contrary to how the many viewers that you have on this podcast.
Right. And to me, that's I think part of what's been lost is that respectful communication. Yeah. God forbid you disagree with somebody, then you're, the things that they go through because they disagree or just because they said something.
Yeah.
Yes. I do feel, while of course I want this communication like that to continue, I do feel respect has been lost. At least in this country, love Trump or hate Trump, love Biden or hate Biden, he's still the president. And I do feel that the disrespect has gone too far. The things that people say on social media.
I agree.
When Trump was president the first time, Kathy Griffin, the comedian, she held that bloody head of Donald. Disgusting to me. So I do feel it should kind of scale back a little bit.
Yeah.
Basically, I think what I'm saying is everybody should be like us and have conversations like this.
Bold.
Exactly. Were you happy to be bold? I'm happy to be bald. I had bad hair. You had bad hair.
I had very bad.
Yeah, I'm fine with being bald.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, I can't look at pictures when I was like, it just seems natural to just be bald. Let's see, what do we got going on? So there you go, Scott. So Scott, yeah, that's what you started here with your question. Let's see. All right, I don't know what I'm not following what's going on in the comments. Okay. So, all right, let's see. Where were we? I wanted to. So, you mentioned you're a full-time musician, which is not easy thing to do, especially on Long Island.
No, it's not.
Wow. But you also give guitar lessons.
I give
right?
guitar. Yeah, it's all part of what I'm doing.
Sure.
Yeah. I have a really beautiful, starting to be thriving music, guitar, and songwriting studio and school.
Nice.
It's called Huntington Guitar Lessons. If anybody is interested to learn about more about what I do, HuntingtonGuitarLessons.com is where you can find out more information.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm doing anything and everything I can do to bring my music and my expertise and
Sure.
my love of music to the masses.
Right. Graduate of the Reuben Academy of Music in Jerusalem, Israel. Says you studied jazz competition and guitar.
Composition.
What did I say?
Competition.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Jazz competition.
I'm trying to figure out what that means.
People fighting. Jazz artists fighting. So with your Africa and Israel and based on jazz composition, are your guitar heroes and what you consider good guitar music? Would it be different than say what the people and the music that would come to our mind, or maybe different people were big over there than they are here?
My music heroes, Frank Zappa was a big guitar hero because of his boldness and his courage, but also because of his knowledge of music.
I was about to say that. You take away the boldness, the guy could play. He was unbelievable.
He was just a great composer, musician.
Yeah.
An influence of mine is a Nigerian musician who was the James Brown of Africa.
Okay.
And you may or may not know his name. His name is Fela Kuti. Have you heard of Fela? He was.
I have. I don't know why, but I definitely probably with Sting or something. Like Sting plays with all these worldly musicians.
He was very famous in the 70s and 80s, maybe the start of the 90s, and his sons have all continued in his way.
Okay.
And also the music of a favorite South African musician of mine. I don't know if you've heard his name. Maybe Frank has. Tony, are you a musician as well?
No, I'm not, but I'm a big fan of music, rock and roll especially, but no, I'm not a musician.
His name is Johnny Clegg. Have you heard of Johnny
sure.
Clegg?
I know Johnny Clegg. Absolutely.
And he was a musician who I looked up to when I was in my teens. I actually saw him. I met him in my teens. My best friend's brother was good friends with Johnny. He came over with his black partner to perform at their house one afternoon.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow, what's going on?
That's crazy.
Like history in the making right in front of my eyes. So those are my influence. Guitar heroes. I'll tell you one hero of mine is Bob Dylan.
Okay.
Bob Dylan, I really think that as a songwriter and as a person who through the ages, through the decades, has made some absolutely remarkable music. He would be the one who is kind of my North Star when it comes to listening to and trying to emulate a person's music. It would be him.
Did you see the movie?
The movie, which one of his?
Yes. The latest one.
Yes, of course.
I hated it.
Oh, you did?
I hated it.
Oh, wow.
I don't like movies where they change, like that whole thing at the end with he's playing the electric, the crowd's getting mad, and Johnny Cash is encouraging him backstage. Johnny Cash wasn't even there.
Oh, he wasn't? I don't.
No, that's what I mean. I hate when they do stuff like that. So, and it takes away from the whole movie for me. The scene with him and Joan Baez kind of like fighting on stage never happened. It never happened. That stuff makes me mad. So it did. It ruined the whole movie for me. I hate that. I hate when they do that.
I found it. The word that I'll use to describe my opinion on that movie is charming.
Okay.
It was a charming movie.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you that.
And there were parts of it that actually made me cry. Kind of like
really.
Yeah.
And he did a great job acting wise. Chalamet, he did a great job as Bob Dylan.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And he's young. He's not even 30 years old, I think, right?
Right.
He's like he's in his 20s.
In fact, even better was Edward Norton as Pete Seeger.
Yeah.
Totally nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. And, Edward Norton is just a great actor, isn't he?
Yes, it was a really cool movie.
Yeah. But
I've seen all the videos of all the interviews and movies that Bob Dylan made, definitely.
Yeah. Definitely fantastic. Let's see. Scott says, but saying Hicksville is fine still feels territorial. Okay, yeah, you're right. But thank you, Tony, for having the hard conversations. Not easy. Appreciate you, boss. Thanks, Scott. Right back at you.
Yeah.
Ann says, Zappa was great. He was my homeboy. Lancaster, California. No, I never met him, but have friends who did, and she misses him. Wow.
You know, Frank Zappa grew up in Baltimore. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Greek family.
Yeah. Very smart and articulate man.
Oh yeah.
I talk about watching interviews. I love watching it. I'm not all that terribly familiar with his music. I have some of his albums, but I could listen to him. I mean, and it pertains to today too. With a lot of the things that he had to say. Very smart man. Yeah. I have a hunch Toby doesn't use the detergent Tide. Just a feeling. I have no idea what that means. Do you have any idea what that means?
As a matter of fact, I do use Tide, and I'm a spokesman for the Tide brand.
You're a spokesman?
No, I'm just kidding.
Great answer. Scott, we have no idea what that means. All right. Yeah, I have no idea what that means at all. I wanted to ask you, too, looking at your website, you advertise 3 different albums. Now, I know you recently put out an EP within the past few years.
Yeah, within two years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your website, you have an album from 2017, an album from 2014.
Yeah.
And then the third, 1982. What happened? Where's all the music?
Wow.
Were there no albums in between?
I'll tell you what it was. I came here in 1988.
Okay.
And I had 3 boys.
Kids get in the way of everything, don't they?
Music has always been a passion of mine, but life, got in the way. And bringing up 3 children, held down corporate jobs in Manhattan.
Oh yeah.
Music, even though Frank knows, I used to play it in the bars in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
But I never had the head space for really concentrating on music until such time as I was fired. I worked as a legal assistant in a law firm for 25 years.
Yeah.
And I was fired in 2013.
Okay.
And I decided then I was going to try my hand at being a full-time musician.
And how old were the boys at that point?
The youngest was 16, and the
Okay.
oldest was like 23.
So
like that.
All right. So they're a little older, but still, still not the easiest of moves, I would think.
Well, yeah, but thank God they're all on their own, and they're married. Did I mention that at the beginning of our interview?
Well, you mentioned the 3 boys. I don't think you said anything about being married. Grandkids?
I've got 2 beautiful grandkids.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're on their own, and yeah, it weighs on my mind thinking about how to take care of them and.
Yeah, but I'm saying at the time though, when the youngest is 16, that's what I meant.
It was.
It's not like you were going to another law firm. I'm going to be a musician, which is
Well,
not
my wife passed away in 2009, and so there was that space of time, 4 years, where I took care as best I could with them, and I took care and made sure that I was doing the right thing, looking after my family, myself. Yeah. But then after a while, life is short.
Absolutely,
you have to really, you have to do the things that you love doing.
Yep.
And try its best to analyze the ups and downs of that decision.
Wow.
And this is what I love doing. And I'll never regret what I do.
Well, good for you. You went through a lot during that time, especially. But even growing up, you weren't having enough fun in South Africa. So let's go to Israel. Mm-mm. So you've had an interesting time.
Again, my show Journey from Johannesburg covers all that material with songs, with slides, with narrative. I suggest people come out and check out the show.
Absolutely,
it'd be great. I'd love to see them.
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
have a top 5 Toby songs.
Oh, do you?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't Relax.
Ah, that's so cool.
It was probably one of the first ones I ever heard of yours.
You know who loved that song, right?
Ramona.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I remember. That's what.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, that's so cool.
That one, Madiba, Happy to Be Alive, Rise Up, and You'll Ask Goodbye. Great songs.
Thanks so much.
Oh my God.
Thanks so much, Fred.
Do we? Well, we got about 15 minutes left. Do you want to? Can we get another tune?
Sure.
That's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Great.
Actually, I'm just going to get a K-pop.
All right.
Okay.
We're hanging out with Toby Tobias here. He's going to play a tune. He's got some great songs. What is it? Toby dot.
Yep.
TobyToby.com. TobyToby.com. You get information on the on his where he's going to be, his albums, the journey to Johannesburg. A journey from Johannesburg, one man's journey to find freedom for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all there on the website.
Rise up, Frank. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I don't believe. Hold on one second.
You don't believe or you don't know the words?
Let's take another one.
I was gonna pull the song up to play for it.
Play it whatever you want.
Here's Madiba.
We're getting a medley today of Toby Tobias' greatest hits.
Yeah, Madiba. Yeah, you're an African man. Yeah, Madiba. Oh, thank you, showing us that we can. In this life you got to take a stand and to fight for what has always been your plan. To win your freedom is gonna take some pain. That's the price you may just have to pay. Yeah, Madiba. Yeah, you're an African man. Yeah, Madiba. Oh, thank you, showing us that we can. The bright blue sky is testament to your survival. The waves crashing on the shore is your release. Makes no difference how long the journey takes you. When you get to your destination, you'll be at peace. Yeah, Madiba. Yeah, you're an African man. Yeah, Madiba. Oh, thank you, showing us that we can. And who knows when the day will come and you'll be free. It may come sooner than you think. Just like a boat upon the water, you got to keep on moving so you never sink. Yeah, Madiba. Yeah, you're an African man. Yeah, Madiba. Oh, thank you, showing us that we can. And if you think this life of yours is much too hard, and the vision that you had is becoming, just remember the life of Nelson Mandela and be inspired by all the things you heard. Yeah, Madiba. Yeah, you're an African man. Yeah, Madiba. Oh, thank you, showing us that we can. Thank you, shown us that you can. Yeah, 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 Madiba.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. You know, yeah, and I hear Paul Simon all over this, but I think in actuality,
around.
it's Paul Simon is playing you. If I saw you on the street and I'm just joking around, like sometimes, you know, guys are like, hey, you son of a bitch. You know, if I said, hey, Madiba, would that be a bad thing? Would you get mad if I act, hey, Madiba?
No.
No,
not at
that'd
all.
be cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
The other way worse, I mean, it's not a bad word at all to say, no.
Well, the fact that I'm...
Like, kind of like, you mean associate the word Madiba with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if, you know, using it for anybody other than Mandela was like blasphemy or something, you know?
I'm sure there are many black South Africans who wouldn't want me to
Right, okay. All right,
associate myself with him.
Right.
But, you know, to be honest, I even though I'm a white ex-South African or still South African.
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Mandela was a cultural icon for me.
Right, who better to be compared
role
to.
model.
Right. Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah. And they understand that. They recognize that.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
They would recognize that.
Nice. All right, we have about a little over 5 minutes left. What I do with pretty much all my guests, I look at Facebook and I look at mutual friends.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring up a few names. You can say whatever you want. You don't have to say anything. Whatever you want to do. So I'm going to throw out a few names. I watched the video for, was it Happy to Be Alive? Was that the one? There's an actual music video where you're playing in a bar and stuff. So I saw in that video was Kelly Baker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did Kelly Baker.
She's a great musician in her own right. Yeah.
And more than anything else, she's a courageous human being.
Sure. Okay.
You know, to be extremely talented woman.
Yeah.
And there's no fear in her life.
Yeah.
And I gained a lot of inspiration from having known her and the things that she's done in the short while that she has devoted herself as being a musician for full time. And there's a lot of things that I've learned from her. So I've only got good things to say about Kelly.
That was a great answer right there. First thing out of my mouth would have been she's hot. That's probably what I just would have said.
Good-looking woman. And Kelly, you can send the. I'll give you my bank account. You can send the check to.
She's been in here several times actually, but
that's cool.
Been a long time. I got to get her in. Mike Leslie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a blast from the past.
Oh, is that right?
Are you friends with Mike
yeah.
as well?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm interested to know how you know him. Mike played my music for quite a few years.
Wow.
I met him through another good friend of mine. His name is Mike Nugent. You know Mike, right?
Yeah, I've heard that name.
Great North Shore musician. And Mike introduced Mike Leslie to my music, and he played numerous shows with me in the beginning part of the early 10s.
Okay. I think is he living in Montana now or something?
Montana or Wyoming. I think Montana. That's where he's from originally.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. All right, now it makes sense. Because when I first heard he moved there, I was like, who the hell moves there?
The nicest guy.
Oh,
the
great guy.
The most respectful guy.
And like a musicologist.
Oh, yeah.
Got a lot of stuff up there.
Great understanding of music.
Well, I know him, and that's actually the next name I have. I know him through David Clark.
Dave Clark, is that the musician who has a Billy Joel?
That's the one.
Trip? I don't know Dave that well at all.
Oh, okay.
But I'm respectful of his musical choices, and I'm, I
like
Mike
was in his band for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's where I met Mike, yeah. All right, next name, Bob Spiato.
Bob, great guy. I met him only once.
Oh, okay.
And a very... it looks like versatile,
talented
entertainer,
guy.
musician, and he got me. I performed at a venue that he arranged for me a couple of months ago. Actually.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that I don't have much content, but a real cool guy. I like him a lot.
Yeah, very nice man. And I always Jan Close. Do I always screw that? It is Jan. Yeah, Jan Close.
Great South African musician.
Right, that's why I brought him up.
South African descent.
Yeah.
I like his music a lot. He sings really well.
Yes, he does.
Excellent performer.
He's been on the show a few times too. All right, this one I'm curious about. Lisa Wicks.
Lisa Wicks.
WICKS.
I'm not exactly
okay.
sure who that is. I apologize to Lisa if she's watching this.
Right. I was down 2 years ago. I was down in North Carolina, and through some mutual friends, I met her and her son. And it turns out they're Long Islanders, but they had recently moved down there. And then I was looking you up, and she was there. So, all right. Phil Walker.
You're embarrassing me now. no, right now.
All right. I'm not embarrassing. I made it up. No. No, he really was there. I'm just trying to cover. How about Mark Klein?
Mark Klein, the
DJ.
Great guy.
Yeah, great guy.
I met him a couple of years ago, quite a few years ago. Real cool. Loves music, a supporter of original music. And,
yes.
I really enjoy being in his company, and it's great. A nice guy.
And which is very important here on Long Island. 'Cause Long Island's become, tribute band central. So keeping the original stuff alive. I love the tribute stuff too, but it's just foreshadowed the original stuff too much, in my opinion.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally, that's the way.
Yeah. I mean, we need more Medibas around.
Right, exactly.
All right. It is time for us to go. Toby Tobias, Toby.com.
Yes.
I don't know why I have to double check that. This was great. Thank you very
Tony
much, sir.
And Frank, this is really fantastic. You're doing a beautiful. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Anytime, we'll have to do it again. Yeah, we'd love to do it again.
Awesome work here for Long Island musicians.
Yeah, true. Thank you. I could easily talk to you for longer. This was interesting, fun, and interesting too. Talking about the whole race and South Africa and whatnot. This
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Not exactly something we cover every day in here. So
we'll do a part two.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. All right, so it is time for us to get out of here. We are a half hour away, 1 o'clock. We have Sports Bash with Peter Schwartz coming at you. Peter just announced the other day the new head coach for the arena football team that's starting at Nassau Coliseum. He is the guest today. I believe he'll be in the studio with Peter, so that'll be fun. Check that out. And then that's it for the day in here. Coffee with the Dog tomorrow at 9 a.m. Me and Rosie will be in here tomorrow. I don't think we have a guest. I think it's just me and Rosie tomorrow at 11. And I don't know if Don has a Donversations tomorrow night or not. I'm not sure. I have to check with him. And that'll do it. And, of course, the clubs. Don't forget Governor's Comedy Clubs. Some of the comedians you'll see on a Governor's stage this weekend. Des Bishop, Vanessa Marcel, and Rena Sofer from General Hospital are here this weekend. Little Mo Mozzarella is here this weekend. Tonight, right here in the Giggle Room down the hall, Richie Byrne, Chuck Fox, Mike Keegan, and Tyler Noble, some other great comedians. You can also see John Ziegler this weekend, Joe Curry, James Grimm, Damian Lemon, and Peter Antoniou. Go to govs.com, make your reservations, do some great comedy shows. Go to knockemdeadcomedy.com and check out our show schedule, what we got going on. Our next public comedy show is in Freehold, New Jersey on April 26th. So go to knockemdeadcomedy.com, find out our schedule, and as well as information on how you can hire us for your event. Next Thursday, we don't have a musician yet, do we?
No, we did and then canceled. So
Sons
we have
of
to
bitches.
We're working on it.
Okay, we'll working on it. We'll let you know. Once again, toby.com. You got anything to push? Do you have a gig or anything this weekend that you want to push or anything?
I do, but it's a private house concert.
Okay.
I'm I'm opening for a fantastic musician. His name is Rupert Waits.
Rupert Waits.
And we're going to be performing in Northport this weekend.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Great area up there.
Yeah,
Whole
yeah,
North
it's
Shore
nice
is nice. Okay, we are out of here. All right, so we'll see you in about a half hour with Peter Schwartz. Have a great rest of your day. Okay.